G'day, how are we? So I had played the game on two separate occasions before playing the official day one launch of Battlefield 2042. I played the beta and I played the early access version. And needless to say, both were very, very rough. Now, surprisingly, there are some things that have been improved with the full release, but for the most part, it's still just missing so much and needed way more development time and definitely needs a lot more content. So in terms of the good stuff, for some reason, the performance is much better this time around. I do have a pretty decent system, but the beta and the early access version were just awful, drops to the mid 20s sometimes. But in this version, the first match had a lot of stuttering. Every match after that, even when shit was flying about and exploding everywhere, it just performed way better, maintained a smoother frame rate. Unfortunately though, there's a very extensive list of things that are still wrong with the game, people still have issues with. So the first issue is the bloom of the weapons. It doesn't add to the game's fun or even helps with the accessibility. It just punishes people for trying to get good shots on at medium-ish range. From medium range, you're pretty much fucked with assault rifles most of the time. If you want people to not just laser, then you should be implementing recoil patterns onto the weapons or slightly random recoil patterns so that people can learn to start dragging their mouse or the stick down if you're playing with a controller and learn how to shoot accurately. The RNG bloom, where it's anyone's guess where the next bullet is going to go, is ridiculous. And it looks even more ridiculous when the animation of the weapon isn't even lining up with where the bullets are going. You've got the barrel pointing in one direction and the bullet flying out into a different direction. It's stupid. The only server browsing is used for the portal mode. If you want to play all-out warfare, it's done through matchmaking only. Lack of a coherent scoreboard, so now I can't just bring up a scoreboard and easily figure out who I have to accuse of cheating. Destruction overall feels way more toned down to the point it feels like playing Bad Company 1 for the first time. That seems to be the case with every Battlefield game these days. Every time a new one comes out, they're no longer pushing the destruction aspect, they're just going backwards. Hovercrafts are hilarious, but it's broken as fuck what they can do. There's no damage number to indicate how much damage you're actually doing to a vehicle. The actual capture points themselves on the UI clog your screen and actually make it hard to spot enemies sometimes. I've had weird glitches where reload prompts persists on screen. I was sprinting with the sniper and it didn't even play the correct tactical sprint animation. My guy just held his weapon up front. You'll still sometimes get a bug where you literally cannot spawn. You have to leave the game and then rejoin and it starts working again. Every time you spawn, your character will chamber around. You can aim and start shooting right away, but the animation still makes for a bit of a distraction. The UI prompts for telling you that majority sectors have been gained or lost are just obtrusive and ugly as fuck. And myself and quite a few other people have been getting this persistence data error, which just occurs randomly and stops you from connecting to a match entirely. But I'm not sure what's causing this because you'll get the error a couple of times and then suddenly it just starts working again. And when I am in a match, there's just no connection issues at all. Like for me, it's been pretty flawless in terms of network connection. Surprisingly enough, or maybe unsurprisingly, depending on what your expectations were of the game, the best match I played was Battlefield 3 in Portal. Someone had set it up so it supposedly had less bloom on the weapons, and it was also a hardcore mode, and it played beautifully. The actual core gameplay was just so good to play, but when you're in the actual 2042 all-out warfare mode, it just feels like it's still an early access game, like it's in beta, and that it should have been in development for another year at least. Hopefully things can turn around quickly. I know Battlefield games are usually fixed after launch. If that turns out to be true, cool, I'll have fun with the game later on. But it's just a damn shame that it's launched in this really, really shitty state, and I am very happy to see so many people rating it as it should be. On Steam, it's sitting at mostly negative, as it deserves. If you go to the Steam reviews or even go to Reddit, you'll find plenty of people have done these really extensive lists where they have the issues with the game in terms of things that are broken, the missing stuff from the game. When I say missing, I mean things that were in previous Battlefields that didn't make it to this game, the things that can be worked on. So the lack of maps, the lack of weapons, there's just a whole heap of lists that's worth checking out. This is just a quick and dirty video that I wanted to get out. Until the next video, have a good one.